Hello, welcome back, and the break is over, and I'm so happy to finally be joined by Escape. Just played one of the best 80 carries in the league. I'm always going to give him his credit where it's due. Today we're going to be watching Trickle Down Economics versus Super Late Reveal. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm gritting through my teeth after that. I don't know. Yeah, no, it was a game. It was definitely really close back and forth, and I'm hoping that we're gonna get that once again between Super Late Reveal. That's RLS backwards, just in case anybody didn't notice. And Trickle Down Economics version 2.0. They've got Jaffe, they've got Zen Zen Zane in the mid lane, and they've got Kevin Antunes on the support. They swapped a few things up.
Absolutely. I mean, Kevin has been a mainstay. People have forgotten that he is one. He is a champion. We always got to make sure to remind everybody that FOF has been around so long. We have so many people winners in the league. We also have our own administrator, Fang, playing in the jungle role once again. And he's even with his old teammate Luro. They go way back on one of the original teams we were going to have in Mythic a while.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a last lock in there of the Sivir ban. I think our side. Oh no, okay. I was gonna say red side basically has to ban Sivir 99% of the time if you want to get a comfortable composition. But Super Late Reveal feels comfortable to just say no. We're gonna take away the Blitzcrank from Antunes. Antunes, of course, known for his hooking champions, and they're gonna put him on. No, I don't believe that. Not for a second.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Yumi's been locked in. It is one of the best supports at the moment. And the Sivir is an interesting pick to go first also. I mean, that basically is a skill check on the enemy AD carry. If they can play the Callista, if they can play the Draven. And now I don't know about Draven, but I do know Luro has played Callista before. So that is one of the champions that can really slam the Sivir in lane. And I would honestly be pretty happy to see that. But if Yumi is locked in, that's most likely not going to be the selection. We're probably going to see something like Azeri.
Yeah, I remember end of last season, we had Luru playing on Twitch, we had him on Kog'Maw, we had him on a lot of those late game scaling powerhouses, so pair that with a Yuumi or a Lulu might actually be a good option for him, and it is going to be the Twitch locked in as a quick response. It is a strong response for the Sivir just because it keeps her really in check during those later game team fights, and Lulu's going to be a good option to just neutralize that landing phase and get Twitch there safely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the amount of threat that the spray and pray does offer in the late game, you outrange her by almost 300, so it's very difficult for Sivir to ever really get into auto range with you. And Twitch actually wins the straight up auto trades depending on what build you go into the mid game. Now, it does depend a lot on what Sivir is paired with to see how this lane matchup is going to go, and I do expect support to come in third, as you've already seen the Lulu, and you don't want to show too much of your draft. But with the Kayn being locked in, this is getting a little spicy already. We don't see Kayn that often, given how inconsistent he can be with his transformations.
I feel like I've seen this bot lane before somewhere. Yeah, gonna be locking in that Nautilus, obviously. Like we said, Antunes is big on those hook champions. He's really, really, really proficient at them. I think he's probably one of the best hook champion players that we've seen at all in FOF. Just super consistent, can always find those angles. And Leaves whipping out the Kayn game one. That's gonna be interesting. It is one of his favorites. He's able to dominate the jungle, walk from camp to camp, and just bully everyone off. It's a really, really scary pick when you give it to him. So we'll see whether or not Super Late Reveal actually has an option to deal with it, and it's going to be the anti-special, except for he's out at the moment. Going to be locking in that Volibear.
Absolutely, the Volibear. Now, that Volibear doesn't seem to me like a Fang champion. That's most likely going to be headed into that top lane for Orphic. But given this situation, I'm honestly surprised that Antunes is going to go with the Nautilus. I mean, one of the interesting dynamics of this new kind of bot lane meta is that the enchanters aren't as vulnerable to all-ins as they used to be. There's a decent shot that if you hook in on the Nautilus and you hook the Lulu, that you might just get killed by the Twitch immediately after. So that does put a lot of pressure in these early levels in particular to play very, very well and punish this double range bot lane before they can get that lane control.
Yeah, and lots of mid focus on these bans for stage 2. The Zoe, the Talia, and the Lissandra all being taken away. Mordekaiser's going to be that final lock-in for TDE. I think that Zoe's a pretty underrated champion. I think that she's got a lot of pressure in the mid lane. She can really generate openings and then get her team on the map pretty much all on her own. But she is kind of, how you put it, useless from behind. So she's very much she's a Winmore character. So they're gonna take that away from Zen Zen, and they're gonna be locking in the Swain perhaps for Guilty. We've seen him do that pretty well in Mythic. Obviously Guilty Mythic in Heroic. This is going to be Guilty's first game in the Mythic League, and we've already seen him play the Swain pretty well in Heroic. So we'll see how that's going to match up into what they're going to grab for Zen Zen here.
Absolutely. I like the Swain pick. It's just giving more frontline, more space for Twitch to work. Now, this is a lot of pressure on Luru to play these team fights really well, and he's going to have to do this into the point-and-click Nautilus Ultimate. That's always a little risky with short-range characters. That Zenzin's going to lock in his patented Vel'Koz. He's
There
played
it
this
is.
a long time. I'm honestly really happy to see this because some range is going to be very necessary into this composition where you're already going to have to play on the edges.
So the only way this could be a little bit more iconic is if it was an Ashe, and if we saw, okay, it is just gonna be Malphite. I was gonna say if we saw GP coming through, that would be all of these signature picks rolling through for trickle-down economics. It's not gonna happen. That's gonna be the Malphite locked in for that top lane. I'm guessing they're just gonna go ahead and assume that Volibear is going to be going to Orphic. Because obviously that's a good flex option. Could be going to Fang in the jungle. Now, I want to talk to you about Fang Brendan being in the jungle. How do you feel about that man's move out of the bot lane into the jungle?
So, for those of you who don't know the little bit of history of FOS, Fang actually came into the league playing jungle.
Really?
Yeah, really. He was on I can't remember the name of his team, but his original team with Luru, actually. He was the jungler. Now, I don't believe they won that many games. I think they basically got smacked around a lot. But Fang is actually a really good jungler. He's an extremely aggressive one. So he's going to look for those invades. He's going to look for those different angles into the map. Now, he plays it. His weaknesses oftentimes was his team fighting, so it's gonna that kind of difference between AD carry and jungle, trying to play more of a mid ranger, and his engaged champions are a little rusty, but he definitely can find those leads early, and he knows when the ganks and how to find angles.
Yeah, no, we'll see how he's able to play this one. Obviously, super late game scaling for super late reveal versus kind of a mid game composition from TDE, so we'll have to see how the two play out as we roll on into the Rift. That Gwen as a final lock-in, I really don't know if the Gwen or the Volibear is going top lane. Really could go either way, and it's going to be Gwen in the top lane. Fang's going to be rolling in on that Volibear, the 5-point spread setup, and we're going to get into our last match of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what you notice right away is that this is a very smart draft already, because you know that there's a ton of AP damage coming out from the side of Orphic, from the side of Fang, and even the Twitch does a decent amount nowadays, even if he does choose to go that option. So I do like that into Malphite, so he doesn't get as much benefit from building armor, as it's going to instantly force the flash. Kevin's going to look for the aggression early. Good reaction time on Lulu.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to start it off. Obviously, getting rid of that flash on the Twitch is a good way to make him vulnerable. I want to just note triple ghost on the side of super late reveal. So it's clearly showing there's been some meta changes. We used to see almost no ghost at all. Here we are rolling in with 3 of them. I think it's a great option for all 3 of those champions. Obviously, giving Swain and Gwen a little bit of room to do some chase down. So we'll see how those ones come into play. But again, SLR is really playing for those later stages. So we'll have to see if they can make those team fights in the mid game kind of not exactly roll off their back so much, but they can bleed as little as possible. We'll have to see. Lots of wards in those topside leaves is going to find them. So a lot of aggression in those early stages to try and track where that Kane's starting.
Yep, there is going to be a early blue start for the side of Leaves, but he does have a leash to get that clear a little bit faster. Fangs is not going to get that luxury as the hook's going to land into the minion. This early level 1 through 2 is going to show us a lot about how this bot lane is going to go, and this is a lot of pressure on both Kev, Antunes, and Ultra to get some lane control, as they're already kind of getting shoved in, and the level 2 is going to be headed to that Twitch, as that's the second hook that's going to go a little wide.
Very aggressive from Antunes already, just trying to find some openings. We'll have to see how that one works out. They're just letting the lane push in so far. They do have leaves clearing towards them, so we'll see if he wants to go for that early gank. Kane, not exactly known for his preform ganking, but you know, we'll see how things work out. Now, I want to mention that this is Sivir number 4 of today, currently 2-1. Whoever lost that one game is like just not playing the character well enough, but take some practice for that. But no, it's a good option. I'd be interested to see if this character is really going to be the dominant force. We've already seen 4 in 4 games today. Sivir's obviously super prevalent, but she's not too hard to pilot either. So I'm interested to know if this is going to be a continued pattern from this point on to the season until they finally do something about that champion.
Well, if I am correct, there is some nerfs for Sivir on the horizon, so we should be expecting that to come in the next patch. I mean, I don't think it's going to take her out the meta. She's just so strong in team fighting right now, and her ultimate and her synergy with Ghost and the other reset mechanics has made her of a terror. And when Sivir's meta is actually a very interesting meta that she causes, because she also allows a bunch of lane bullies to come in, like Twitch, like Draven, like the Callista, these champions that are really mechanically skilled, and you can see how well these AD carry champion pool actually are.
Yeah, it forces kind of the extremes on either side of the table, right? You either end up with something that scales unbelievably hard into the later stages, or something that bullies really, really hard. So I think a Sivir meta is an interesting meta, but we're going to be seeing a lot of Sivir. Not a lot of action so far, though. On the other hand, we've just seen these junglers each do a 6 camp in either direction. The bot scuttle is going to get secured by TDE. Meanwhile, on the top side, Fang over Fang is already taking that top scuttle, and Jaffe's setting up the ward. Yeah, just very safe play across the board. I don't imagine we'll be seeing first blood for a couple minutes now.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a little slow in the early game. Now you do have Fangs running, and this is Leaves looking for the gank bot size. Hook is going to be available a little bit too far for beatdown, as this is going to be the auto attack that's going to stun up soon. Good poly is going to prevent it from coming out. Hook's going to land. They're going to go for Luru. Damage is coming through. Luru hasn't opted to use his summoners yet. Doesn't have flash available from that first gank, and he's going to make it out by the skin of his teeth. Good gank early, though, getting some early stacks. As that's going to be the flash stun. Fangs isn't going to get the slow from his E, so that is going to let Zenzen live. But a bunch of pressure coming out from these junglers already.
Yeah, secondary Summoned burnt now.
Not done yet. No flash onto Fangs. He's taking a bunch of damage. Going to have the shield come through. Zenzen's going to get a little bit of Q damage off, and now Fangs is going to be forced to walk back into his jungle. But you got to be careful doing that against Kayn. He clears so fast. If those ganks aren't successful, you can fall behind very quickly.
Yep. So far, small lead for Leafs on that Kayn. This hasn't been huge. But, you know, that stuff like that can just snowball into the later stages. Now Leafs is back.
Oh, man. This is you cannot give up. Ghost is going to be popped. You're not going to kill this Swain. That's why the cameras are going to instantly go away. We don't need to worry about how that gank turned out. No real health given away so far. But this is a lot of blue stacks already for Leafs. You think he's going to be going for the blue Kayn this game?
I mean, I have it hard to see why he's going to go for blue Kayn. Obviously, that team has a little bit of tankiness on either side, but I feel like you want sustained fighting to go into the enemy team that SLR have put together. So maybe at this point, I think he's just aiming for an early form transfer. That's the only thing I can think right now, is he's ganking constantly post his camps. He's going to run back around, clear all of his camps again, because Kayn doesn't need to recall to do that. And I think he's just aiming to get those orbs in, and I think his ganking is really what he's aiming for this game. And like we were saying, very challenging for him to get ganks down before that form comes through.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, Kayn is such an interesting champion. Like, if he could transform at 10 minutes and there was the stacking mechanic didn't exist, he would probably be meta in pro play. But I mean, just you never really know what you're gonna get out of him, and he's always a champion that is required to gank, but isn't the best ganker. So it's always been a little bit oxymoronic of how his kit works.
Yeah, and then you get to that mid stage, and then he's not too bad at it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. The Conqueror does tell me that he's looking for that red Kayn for that Ross to come through. I don't know if that's where he's on par for right now, because like you said, a lot of blue orbs have been picked up. Oh,
Hook's gonna land. Lure is gonna get stunned up, but the damage is gonna come through from the poly where Kevin's gonna be in trouble, taking a bunch of extra autos, as Luru's not gonna be able to get the E down just yet. He's gonna come through. Kevin takes a bunch of damage, but he's good. It's hard not to call him by his first name. We know him too well.
Kevin, he's just KevTunes. He's very, very, very happy part of the community, very cuddly part of the community. I'm a big fan of him, but you know, Hubris getting ahead of him right there, is able to land that hook onto Luru. Isn't going to turn into too much, and now it looks like room for SLR to maybe get some dragon control right now. They do see Leaves in that bush. They're going to get rid of him. And, you know, we're still kind of at this isolated point. There's been almost no separation in gold. There's a tiny farm lead for the side of TDE, but really hasn't made a big difference so far. And I think this is just going to be a game that slowly rolls out, which is going to favor the side of SLR.
Absolutely, and good on Jaffe for not falling too far behind just yet, but that's the ultimate pop Ghost is going to be. Orphic is looking for everything. He's going to have the last ultimate charge coming up. That is going to be dodged by the ultimate from Jaffe, so barely making it out by the skin of his teeth, not being forced to use the flash also. So good all-in trade by the side of Orphic, forcing out this Malphite.
So now I feel like this is a late reset from Leaves, which is going to cause this dragon to go over because he hasn't gotten those items here. Because otherwise, outside of that, you're sitting on a Noon Quiver for Sivir. There's a lot of room for there to be a contention here. The mid laners are both sitting even on items, so I think it's just Leaves resetting late that's going to give away this dragon. Might give room for Leaves to move towards this top side, but it's going to be first dragon over to... honestly, team composition, you've got the wave clear with Sivir, you've got the aggression with Nautilus. I don't really think they should be getting that early dragon. It's a small blunder, but we'll see whether or not it snowballs.
Oh, Luru's going to be in a bit of trouble. Hook's going to land. Stun's going to be there. The walk from the team. Is Luru going to be able to make it out before the chains from Fangs is going to be there? But that's a flash force by Luru, just kind of meandering into the bot lane with no real assistance just yet.
Yeah, he was just sitting there in stealth. Wasn't really sure where Antunes was. Saw that he walked out of lane, but I think that was basically all that came through. And having to burn that flash, and it's going to reopen up bot lane towards those ganks. And we've already seen Leaves be quite coming into that bot lane when there's been no flash on that Twitch, so we'll see whether or not they want to repeat that. I think outside of that, Guilty and Zenzen really just have been sitting in this mid lane CSing up. There's a 5 CS lead for Zenzen. It's not going to make that big of a difference. It's good to see Guilty performing this well, though. Zenzen obviously played top lane last season, back on his main role now, looks a lot more comfy, has a lot bigger of a pool, and a lot more confidence, it seems, just being able to take it to Guilty.
Yeah, I'm honestly really interested to see how these teams are going to match up. When I see TDE versus weird mouthful versus UB actually, because I think Civil Lock and Zenzen actually have a very similar champion pool, so it's going to be really interesting what these two mid laners are going to pick against each other when that matchup does come about.
Yeah, we're both able to lock in the Vel'Koz so far today. We've seen Civil Lock already put it to good use, so we'll see how things continue. Jaffe and Orphic, just the constant trade match in that top lane. There's going to be a lot of damage passing back and forth. I think everyone's just kind of padding their stats right now. We haven't really seen anything explode onto the map just yet, which is kind of problematic, really, if you look at Fang, because hasn't been able to cause pressure on Volibear. So maybe he's just looking for that level 6, go for some of those easy tower dives. Obviously, it has come through now, but I'd really like to see this Volibear making plays. He burnt that flash really early on into his ganking career, if you will. And then hasn't really been able to do much since. So walking back into mid lane, he's going to look for something. Antunes is already sitting in the wings. Ward's going to get rid of it. Ooh, Guilty. Hold on. Fine, engage. Brendan.
Yep, Ward's going to be it. Zenzen is going to be walking in, getting rooted up. If Fangs had committed for the gank, just walked over for the ward, that probably would have been a kill. The flash available and the ultimate from the Volibear, but that's something you really can't expect. I mean, they didn't know the E was going to land for Guilty, so just a little bit out of the expectation for Fangs. He's going to miss out on a kill there.
Yep, boots are through. There's already a lot of clear speed coming through from that Kayn, and now we get to see the other side of the matchup right now when Malphite gets through that level 8. Hold on, big dive.
He's going to go Zenzen in trouble, and that's first blood as Guilty is going to get the assist, and Fangs is going to grab the first kill of the game.
Yeah, keeps his flash online too. That's a good play for Fang to get that first kill. Gives it over to Guilty. Now Guilty can start to really bully that laning phase, which will be great for him. The 400 gold picked up onto the bear. And I think, yeah, he was just waiting for that level 6 to start making plays. I think he's still got the ability to maybe walk into bot lane, top lane, whichever. Still has that flash online and start to make a little bit more of a difference maker, but that has evened the game back up.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on Fang for finding that gank into the mid lane, punishing the Vel'Koz. Very squishy champion, very difficult to survive these games. We don't see that many dives mid lane, honestly. Volibear is only one of the very few champions that does it regularly.
Yeah, it's something that FOF teams don't really like to go for. Very close hook there. Great dodge there from Beatdown Boulevard. But, you know, as soon as, I've been saying this for a while now, as soon as teams can start getting on top of these early game dives, it's going to start to cause a lot of problems. Speaking of problem solving.
Ultimate's going to be there. That's going to be the stun landing onto Orphic, taking a bunch of damage. Is he going to have a healing? Just enough. Conqueror's the ghost is there. He's too fast. No Q's going to land for Lee's, as the Q's going to go back, take a little bit of damage onto the Kayn. But Orphic does a good job of surviving that gank, and it has not died with everything being committed into him from this top and jungle combination. Up as Guilty's going to land the root. A little bit of damage onto Zenzen. Shouldn't be really in kill range with the Swain ultimate not being committed just yet. Flash is going to be, but he's taking a bunch of Qs. He's rooted up again. Now the ultimate's pop from Guilty. Fangs is here. He's looking for it. The slow's going to be followed up. Zenzen's going to be flashed on. Guilty's looking for the last root. Is going to find it, and that's a kill for Guilty, who does everything to pick up that one.
Yeah, there was the bear just there for the high five at the end. Is going to pick up that assist, but that is another kill picked up in that mid lane for the Swain. Guilty really strutting the stuff right there, able to find a kill onto Zenzen, who is a very talented mid laner. We haven't seen him played in a while, but he's been playing it actively. And I have to really wonder, like, whether or not Zenzen was just certain that he was comfortable there. Hold on, not a chance.
Hook's going to land. No ultimate on Guilty. Not enough damage from the Nautilus by himself, so not much follow-up. But this is a Rift Herald. The numbers advantage is going to be on the side of TDE, so that's going to force the flash out of Fangs. No ultimate available for him just yet. Is going to have it for this team fight coming up. But yeah, just as you were saying, that was a little bit sloppy from Orphic, from Zenzen rather, to get caught with all that CC back to back.
Yeah, and he was sitting on the top side of the map, which is why I was confused. I thought he was waiting for an opportunity to leave to come down.
This is the ultimate that's going to be there. The knockup is going to come through, and Zenzen's going to grab his revenge. Hook's going to land. The laser's going to pick up the last, and that's going to force the ultimate out as that Q almost grabs it from Ultra, but not enough damage to pick it up on that Lulu. But yeah, Zenzen's going to get his return kill. The team helping him out good mid lane because Jaffe's going to be in a bit of trouble. That's ultimate pop. Ghost is going to be there. Dodges the last sets of knives. And Jaffe's been on this matchup on the skin of his teeth twice now and manages to live.
Yeah, and just getting out on those small margins, which is exactly what you need to do. Malphite, just survive, just make it to the point where your team fighting prowess comes into play. Obviously, Orphic's still going to be huge. This is still really good for him. He's building an advantage. But you know what? You'll take those small plays, take those small wins when you can find them. Hold on, Orphic.
Oh, Orphic's thirsty for it. He wants a solo kill. He needs to build them stats up. Getting the article show he's showing some lane dominance, but he's up almost 20 CS already, or I'm sorry, 11 rather. So good laning so far. This is an expectation for Malphite, not the best laner early on. So good on Jaffe for not falling too hard behind.
Yeah, no, it's good. That Rift Herald went down mid and just kind of turned into nothing. Hold on.
It's going to land. Fang's going to be in a bit of trouble, but there is no follow-up. And now that's the ultimate coming through. Ultra's going to get knocked down by the rat. The flash is going to come through. Laurel's still looking for it. Auto's coming through. The poison's going to tick. It's still ticking on Ultra, who is going to die. And 2 kills grabbed in the jungle invade.
Great backline play for Luru. Finds a way in to just get onto that Sivir. It was obviously the Dragon take. They are going to be able to pick that up, and then they over-aggress into the jungle here. This game has been non-stop. Like, every time we pan the camera, it's another fight going on. It's a nice hook from Antunes, but he finds himself way too far in position. Look at Luru just lurking, and then finds a way onto that Sivir, so there's no damage left in this fight up there. It's just basically a 3v2 between Leaves and Antunes versus most of SLR's bot side. And it just turns into cleanup right there. 2 kills gone over to the side of SLR, and points when you need them right there. It's a good play for them. It's going to find them a little bit of a gold lead, and you take that trade for Dragon.
Absolutely good on SLR to get that turn. And we just witnessed why it's so difficult to play Sivir into Twitch. You walk up into the team fight and can't beat the Twitch in the 1v1. And with that already starting, Blade of the Ruined King is going to be coming through soon. Ultra actually had the item advantage through some better CSing early, as Jaffe's going to go for the ultimate. Is he just looking for trade damage or trying to find a kill? But Orphe's going to take a tower shot. So the autos are going to be coming through, but you see how much damage that full stack Q can do. Ghost is pop. Jaffe is going to be in a bit of trouble, as Orphe's going to be forced to walk away. The ultimate charges are coming through, and the last one has missed again. Orphic is trying so hard to find this 1v1 and has yet to get it. But his life is going to be traded. Knockup's going to be there. Rost is here. And goodbye to the Gwen, who does not have enough. You're not making it out, as Leaves is going to grab it.
Oh, I thought there was a moment there where Orphic was just going to walk out. Had a fantastic back and forth trade there against Jaffe, but Jaffe once again playing that binary.
Oh, make it out. We're going to see if Ultra can make it out. That's Blade of the Ruined King pop. That's Otto's coming through, and it's too much, as that's a solo kill onto the AD carry.
I think it's just Spencer's on Sivir that really seem to struggle into this Twitch right now. It's such a good option just to deal with. Their beats are in the 1v1 really comfortably, doesn't mind getting pushed in, and is able to play those team fights. Like you say, that extra range means so much, and it's been really, really valuable for Luru so far. Has those 2 kills picked up, and it can just play the submarine from now on. Just show up in random places, kill someone, get out of there with your bonus stealth. It's not at all going to be a problem for SLR to just let that Twitch roam around and cause some craziness. Good play in the top side for TDE to be able to trade back onto Orphic. I realized that was a while ago, but this game is non-stop. And I think that these teams are basically just going to both try and set up towards either the second Herald that should be coming up relatively soon.
Kevin's going to be looking for it. Going to land the ultimate. Going to land the knock up. That's the laser coming through. So much damage, as Beatdown's going to be beaten down himself. Now the ultimate's going to come through. Fangs is going to be in a bit of trouble. Dusk's going to have the ultimate available, but he's been CC'd. He has too much damage on him as a shutdown comes through for Leaves, and as a bunch of gold just handed over to the side of TDE.
I can't. I have no idea anymore. I'm waiting for objectives to come up, and then we will fight over the objectives. And that is neither of the mentalities of these teams. There's a person there warding. Let's send 5. And you know what? That's kill picked up for TDE. And now they're starting to bring this gold lead back. They feel like they're in a really strong position right now. This should be mid turret going down. There's a relatively big wave there. They've got a lot of people on it. There won't be first tower gold that was picked up by Orphic, but opening up mid lane is never a bad call. And with a minute 30 till Dragon, that's going to serve them very nicely.
Yeah, now this is Luru by himself. Beatdown is close. The all-in's not going to come through. Smart on Leaves to not try to take that fight. Honestly, with a Blade of the Ruined King Twitch, I'm not even 100% sure he could win it. So good, just collecting up the waves. Kane is going to be a massive threat. 2-1 on the 2-1-0 right now. Eclipse is probably going to be coming through on the next base. So a lot of damage available for this Kane so far.
Yeah. No, and it's just going to turn back in. I'm hoping that our next fight is going to be just around this dragon. Obviously, there's a lot of gold in pocket for that Kayn, like you say. I think that Zenzen could be a really big factor when we come into these proper 5 versus 5 or 4 versus 4 team fights, come around these mid-game objectives. I'd be curious to know whether or not Orphic's just going to be committed to playing the side lanes, because that could actually give a really good opening for SLR to just play slow on objectives. If they can get there first, get their vision control in, and just let Orphic split push, it could really open them up. But they need to be in the river setting up vision preemptively, and that's where TDE is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just the amount of advantage that comes out if Jappy's going to try to build magic resistance fight in the 1v1 with Orphic is not going to benefit him in the team fights, because he has to be able to survive Twitch auto, so he's going to almost be forced to build armor at this point, and that's just going to make it easier and easier as the game goes on for Orphic to dominate this 1v1 matchup, and the split pushing is going to be always a threat if you're looking for the win conditions later on.
TDE's just been sitting around this dragon. It's not up yet, guys. Look at what's happening top lane right now. Orphic's already on that tier 2 turret. That's 600 gold on the table right now for that Gwen. Luru!
Oh, Luru's going for it. Ultimate is going to be there. Ultra is going to die. Luru's knocked up, taking a bunch of damage. Lulu Ultimate's going to try to keep him alive, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to be enough. Shutdown grab. And this is the fight that Beatdown is struggling. He's going to look to die next or not, as that Q's going to come in. Beatdown's still alive. Now here comes the big Swain. All the damage. Orphic's going to grab 1. That's going to be 2 forced away. 3 dropping already. And the team fight's going to come with the teleports being there. And these solo lanes do everything to save the fight.
This game is a roller coaster. It is up, down, all over the place. Let's start this one off. Luru finding a cheeky engage onto Ultravox, who walks up a little bit too comfortably, not necessarily respecting how the Twitch can just play like an assassin, get around the side of Ultravox, and they find that pick immediately, but Zenzen's already on the way down. So this pick onto Ultravox is really, really good, but then they are immediately on top of that Twitch, and Zenzen layers a massive ulti, and at this point, I feel like we're both looking at this fight like, oh, Zenzen just swung it. That's over. And then Orphic, who's been in the side lane again, has that TP and is able to just wipe this fight the other way with Guilty, who gets there just in time. It was one side then the other, then back again, but it is going to be SLR picking up a clean fight and almost certainly the dragon to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Once some solo laners came in, they had every tool they needed to look for those kills. As Zenzen's overstaying, this is Ghost popped on Guilty, forcing the flash. Is the E going to be dodged? Zenzen's going to have to dodge it. He's going to get rooted, pulled back. Orphic is looking for it. The snip is going to be, but the tower is going to be from the dash forward, so shut down. And Zenzen's going to be happy with that trade. There's a lot of gold going over to his pocket.
Oh, that's such an unfortunate one for Orphic. I have to imagine he was trying to dash the other way and his mouse was just in the wrong spot, or it's one of those moments where you lock the camera at the wrong time or something like that. Just, oh, feels so awkward going back into the turret, but he's going to give that kill back to Zenzen, and that's really the best case scenario there for Zenzen. You can't get too much out of it. There's going to be Dragon picked up for SLR, point number 2, going towards this Cloud Soul. And Cloud Soul could be really deadly for either of these teams. Popping Ultimate, having that much extra movement speed, being able to rotate around the map that much faster. There's a lot of room for this to be a really deadly Soul, so I think Dragon contention is going to have to be really big this game, but we're not going to see that second Rift Herald do anything as it's about to get devoured by the worm.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of Cloud Soul, is one of the dragons. I mean, Cloud Soul for the side of TDE is not crazy, but it is insane if it was going to go over to SLR. These are all champions that heavily benefit from that move speed from Ultimate, especially Twitch. Given how he likes to team fight when that Ultimate comes through, is basically his opportunity to do as much damage as he's going to do in the rest of the team fight. So you do not want that Cloud Soul going over for the side of SLR.
No, and Sivir go Burr is always an option. So, well, you know, I think that's going to be a heavy focus for both these teams. Obviously, they've traded back 2-1 right now in favor of SLR. They are sitting on that clean 2.5K gold lead right now at that center point. And something I've noticed from these Mythic games so far today is that we've had, like, I don't want to say closer games than we've had in Heroic, but like they felt a lot more even, and I feel like there's been a lot more back and forth so far, and I don't know if that's representative of the skill levels being a little bit more matched. Obviously, the point system came in, and the goal of that is to make sure that every team has a certain amount of displacement that they can put on people of different roles and try and even things out as much as possible. Hold on. No explaining numbers.
He's just looking for the 1v1. Eclipse already popped a bunch of damage onto Orphic already. It's going to dodge out the needles. Flash away is going to be there, prevent the Malphite ultimate. Orphic's going to try to survive, but he's not going to be able to do so. Too many knockups, and Kayn walks away full HP. Well done on Leaves finding that easy pick onto Orphic in the side lane.
Yeah, nope, those are Leaves' Krugs, I'm afraid. You don't get your hands on those. It's a good play to just find that pick right now, and I think that if you're if you're Orphic there, you really can't afford to be that far forward when the rest of your team isn't on the map. There's no pressure being generated anywhere else. You can't pressure that mid turret because you're drawing 2 down into the bot lane. And I think it's going to be beneficial for SLR to just play 4-1 right now. I don't think that Vel'Koz being in the side lane is anything you really have to worry about. Hold on, Luru. Bit of a weird spot, but you don't really have to worry about the enemy team doing a 1-3-1 or anything like that and pressuring you. You can wave clear, you're fine. Just let that Gwen do her own thing in the bot side and then just get pressure elsewhere with the other 4.
Absolutely, a lot of options available for both SLR and TDE. Orphic getting picked in the side lane didn't really amount to much for the side of TDE. They weren't able to push. They weren't able to really get any other advantages outside of the kill. So nothing too upsetting, and there's still plenty of options for SLR in this mid game to fight.
And I'm noticing TDE falling into pretty much the same thing as if you cannot maintain your vision control, we just saw this last game as well, if you can't maintain your vision control against a Twitch that's ahead, you have to stay in a ball. And what that's doing is that's giving a lot of room for SLR to pressure both these lanes. Okay, Guilty's going to be picking up that.
Oh my god, root landed again. Guilty has just been 100% accuracy with these Swanies, but he's going too far. He's here by himself, but Fangs is here trying to find a fill. Zenson forced to walk away. Leaves is going to grab one. So much damage on the back end. Fangs is now by himself. He's going to get knocked up. This bear does not have enough stats to survive, as Leaves is going to pick up a double kill. This Kane is on a tear.
And this is why we know Leaves for his Kane. He's always in the right place, walking through walls. Surprise, we're here. And now with the jungle and mid laner missing of SLR, it's going to be a pretty desperate attempt to stop this Baron. If they're even going to try it right now, TP coming through from Jaffe. They're going to stick 5 people on this, clear out all the vision. Now, Twitch and Gwen can be pretty deadly for these situations. They do have the power-up of a Lulu. There's going to be no TP for Guilty. There's going to be no way for Fang to get back into this place. That's whether or not they can get vision control in there. Beatdown Boulevard is conceded. It's 8K.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot on Luru to see how much he can do. That is going to be Orphic popping this on, but here's the ultimate from Luru, looking for the autos. That's, and the stun isn't going to land, so Luru's going to get the autos on everybody, taking so much damage when he's hooked up. He's taking a bunch of damage. He's knocked up. Luru's going to drop. Ultra's going to be the one to grab that kill. But so much damage came out from this Twitch, was unable to get the final pickoffs on anybody, but that does prevent the Baron.
Luru got a little bit in his own head about this play, I have to say. You've got one job here. You're 3 versus 5, they're taking Baron. Stop the Baron. And I think that the aggressive push forward there from Orphic does a really good job of drawing them off, and TDE makes the choice to try and turn this fight, and they do. Luru puts out so much damage after dodging that Malphite ult. He's able to shred through the health bars of TDE, but there's that moment where Luru looks back at those health bars and gone, I can do a little bit more right here. He's going to turn back around, and you don't need to be there anymore, and it's going to cost him his life for it, but mission accomplished. They were able to stop the Baron with only 1 casualty.
I mean, that is a really tilting play. If you saw right then, Zenzen actually placed a pink ward in that side bush that caused Luru to lose vision on the last 2 auto attacks he was looking at. Would have picked up Ultra. So that's just really small things right there that just some pink ward placements prevented the Twitch from really getting that pop-off moment and allowing Antunes to just walk up and get that free hook out of vision.
Yep, and just like that, you're going to lose your Twitch. Not going to lose Baron, though. Overall, in that type of situation, I think you're kind of okay with it. It is really unfortunate for Luru, but now we're going to make this rotation. We've got 20 seconds as we are just speeding through up to this dragon. Scuttle Crab is going to be secured for SLR. That's a big deal. Now, it looks like the pings there, just reading the pings there from TDE, they want to pressure mid lane and then maybe look towards forcing Baron. They can afford to give up Soul Point here if it's going to earn them a lot. Hook barely going wide, though.
Yeah, Antunes unable to land it, but this is a flank onto the Swain. Guilty has plenty of avenues to get into this backline. Dragon's already here, but first move is going to be on TDE as they've made it into the river first.
They don't have any vision. Does Orphic know how much danger he's in right now? No, not at all. They just see the pink. They've seen 2 there. Guilty doing a really good job with that W just to try and get vision of the enemy team. The dragon has been maybe poked at, started up. Luru's in the bot lane. This has to be the engage for TDE. It's only 3 versus 5 right now, but they can't find anyone. Sivir doesn't quite have that ulti yet.
And they're just going to choose to go for this dragon. Guilty is pretty far away. They're going to try to burn it. Are they going to be able to do so? Guilty's going to find the back line. He's going to be here. All the Ultra's going to be in a lot of trouble. Forced to walk away. This is going to be Guilty getting the root. Now, the Zenzen has his ultimate. Going to pop it. Fangs is going to be forced to all back. This back line is going to leave us in the back line, trying to do as much damage as possible, but he's going to get shut down. Not enough damage onto this jungler. Guilty is going to find his way into the back line. He's 1v3. Two people are dropping. Zenzen's going to be forced to lash away. Double kill is going to be found by the side of Luru when to pick up the other, but Guilty's not done. Isn't going to have the root available. Zenzen's going to make it out by the skin of his teeth. But another one fight for the side of SLR.
I'm sorry, Guilty is the substitute for this team. Pure Llama, turns out you have big shoes to fill. Guilty taking a 1v3 in the backline there just to make sure that the Twitch can pick up the 2 kills on the other side. Starts by getting caught, but it's kind of fine. You're sitting there, you have the Zhonya's available, and then look at the re-engage here from Jaffe trying to get on top of Luru. That Zenzen has to pop ulti to try and get the team away from him, but this turns into a 2v4 and a 1v3, and Guilty's just winning. He's just able to sit there. He's taking absolutely no damage. Zenzen's already burned most of his damaging abilities. Ultravox gets taken too low, and Guilty able to walk that fight away and win it for SLR and put them on Soul Point.
I mean, it's just so difficult for Sivir to play these team fights. Can't walk up past the Swain. Not enough range to really hit priority targets. And Luru, even though he was forced to use all of his summoner spells, had the damage to pick off those last 2 carries at the very end. So just more accelerating gold. And the shutdown given over. Leaves had so much gold on his head, and it goes over to a carry on the other side of the team. Really difficult when you're trying to come back into this game.
Yeah, and there's that Gale Force now finished up from Luru. Did have to burn both of those summoner spells during that fight, but you know what? You're kind of good with it at that point. You're able to just go, hey, I'm going to roll through my items. I'm going to make sure that we're strong. Those summoners are going to be back up by the time he needs them at the next dragon fight. So I think really it's going to be on TDE to say, okay, this Twitch is vulnerable. There's no flash on the Swain. Let's try and play towards this Baron if we can, because that's what we have the timers for right now. And you know, even if you're at a small disadvantage, you really have to play to whatever you can right now, because as this Twitch gets more and more items through, it gets so much harder.
Yeah, a lot of summoner spells are down. So this next team fight a little bit easier to navigate. Jaffe hasn't been able to find good avenues onto this Malphite ultimate to get the stun onto priority targets just yet. So they're going to be looking to fight around this Baron. But I mean, if I was SLR, I would just be waiting for those summoner spells to come back up, because this is really the only opportunity where a fair team fight can go on. If Jaffe can find that Twitch and he dies instantly, then you have an avenue to really get the follow-up damage to come through on some of these other priority targets, because Guilty is going to be so hard to kill right now.
No, Guilty. I don't know if there's healing reduction coming through quite yet from the side of TD. I love the double pink ward on the side of the Baron there. That's really good, just to make it difficult for them to start this in the shadows right now. You have one person pick that off, you might not think anything, but if the whole team's off the map, you have to really think about it. I like this, committing Orphic down to the bot lane, pull the enemy team away from that Baron, and take away TDE's only really good play right now between now and Soul. It just stick that Gwen in the side lane. That Gwen's been creating so much pressure, has that TP available. It's really, really good for SLR.
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as Orphic's in the side lane, he's just going to consistently get more and more advantages over Jaffe, who's going to be the main person to match him. And as long as, and once this Gwen gets completely out of control with all the extra gold she's picking up while she's by herself in that lane, I mean, it's going to get harder and harder as Jaffe's now forced to base and is going to try to find a follow-up, as they're going to, these pink wards are going to be grabbed. But they're going to need to be scared, because this is a good opportunity to find a team fight for SLR.
You were talking about there's no flash on the Twitch, so get the Malphite in there. So Malphite can't be there anymore. So this is, every advantage is being stripped away right now from TDE. They're running into so many problems just because they don't really have a clean answer to Orphic being in those side lanes. They're going to have to commit down, but look at this. The difference last time was that Leaves could go down there for free. Now SLR is pressuring the Baron, and there's really not a good option right now for TDE.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those opportunities. You have to find angles. You have to find a flank to go in. It's very difficult, but it's going to need to be a snap engage, and someone's going to need to die instantly. Zenzin's going to be a bit in trouble. Fangs is going to get hooked up, though. A bunch of follow-up damage. The root's going to be there. Too far for the disintegration ray, so not enough damage going to pick up Fangs. Blue Smite's going to be there for Leaves. Warfric's on the back line. He's finding everybody. Ultra's going to be forced to walk away. He's dead instantly. Guilty is just running through the side of TDE. Knockup's going to be on the side of it, but that's a shutdown. Leaves is picking up one all by his lonesome, as Kevin's going to die in the backside, unable to get away from Guilty. Leaves is going to try to save his life. Knockup is going to be there. Orphic is going to, he's going to go right into the Swain. Root's going to be there. Orphic's going to grab it, as this is a Baron that's going to come away with the enemy jungler down. Baron's on the table.
Round of applause right there for SLR. They played that so well with the TP coming in from Orphic. The only downside is that they're going to lose Luru, but you know what? I think they played that really, really well. They were able to bait out the Lifeform Disintegration Ray, like you said, was barely able to do anything with that. They're going to pick up the Baron now. The Twitch is the only non-benefactor of the Baron buff, but still it's going to grab the gold, and everything that was maybe building, maybe options for TD is about to just disintegrate off the map, including the Soul, which I'm sure SLR is going to be able to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those rare occasions that I get, and this is why I love FOF so much, is that you can see certain things that really show in pro play brought into FOF. There's the reason why we don't see champions like the Vel'Koz, like the Xerath, these long range mages, is because of their vulnerability to getting flanked if you play team fights properly. And this is the third or fourth time where Zenzen has not managed to get that free open up and stay safe, because there's always a Gwen, there's always a Swain, there's always someone running around this backline where you're just pressured out instantly, and it makes it very difficult to find these fights.
Yeah, TDE really lacks the peel for that. You know, they need like. I know that this probably is an option because of Antunes. Hold on, hook in the mid lane.
Oh, Hook's gonna land, but you're landing it onto Guilty. He's the tankiest target. Not enough to kill him. Healing in this hourglass right now. Forced to flash away from the side of Ultravox. And now Twitch is gonna be on the back line. Zenzin's gonna be forced into the hourglass. One auto left. Leaves is trying his best. He's gonna try to find Luru in the midst of his whole team. Naka's gonna be there. They are gonna grab it. Jaffe is gonna get that ultimate. Now is Leaves and Jaffe gonna be able to do it? This is gonna be dependent on how strong Leaves is, but he's stunned up. He has taken too much damage. Polymorph OP is that's going to be 2 kills grabbed up for the side of Fang, and they're looking for the game.
Yeah, no, it's going to make it a lot harder to take the game because they don't have Luru there, but they do have Orphic, who can do a lot of damage to those turrets right now. It is all on Ultravox to try and clear this wave, but with the Baroned up minions, Sivir's known for her wave clear, but I don't know if you're going to be allowed to get close right now between Guilty and Fang over Fang defending this. No, they are just going to peel off and go for that dragon. You know what? When you're this far ahead, I don't hate it.
Absolutely. I mean, I said they probably could have taken the kill. There's no way Sivir could walk through and kill the minions and not die to Swain or Volibear. But I mean, when you have Soul on the table, just take the easy goal, take the easy win. And this is going to be Cloud Soul grabbed up. The too far away for the side of Leaves hasn't even respawned yet. And I'm not going to count my chicken before they hatch. I'm going to let Fang secure his smite. New jungler does grab it. And this is SLR playing a very well played first game, showing some skill already.
Yep, it was a little bit shaky in the early game. I think for both of these teams, it was a little bit chaotic. A lot of fighting going back and forth over not much. It just mispositioning, you know, and teams being able to capitalize on that. But ever since then, this mid game and this late game so far has been dominated by SLR, making good macro decisions, team fighting impeccably. And now that they have Soul online, they've got Baron online, it's still going to be ticking. I don't imagine it's going to last too much longer, but the Kayn is basically out of his realm now. Ultravox is 2 levels down on the Twitch and really doesn't have a way to get empowered because he doesn't have a Lulu or a Janna or a Yuumi or
anything. Orphic is going to face check Leaves, and it's stunned up. The blue smite's going to be there. This is Orphic all by himself. What are you doing, man? Are you going to be able to survive? But Ghost is going to be there walking so fast, unable to get dodged that last knock-up. Here's the ultimate from Antunes. Kevin's going to be able to find it as he's going to walk away. Hook's not going to be there, so this is knock-up full shut down. 700 gold grabbed up for the Kayn, who has been the main threat in these team fights, and a lot of gold just gifted over for the side of Orphic.
All right, commentator's curse. I'll shut up. I don't know what to say. I feel like if SLR just plays as a group here at this point, they can just open up any part of the map that they want to and play safe. I don't think that being a 4v5 is really going to hurt them too badly, but Orphic's been doing a lot in these team fights, so this is going to really stunt their progression for this stage of the game. Obviously, the Baron has already timed out, so they're not hurting too badly, but yeah, just gold given over to Leafs for no real reason. And we'll see whether or not that starts to matter. Obviously, that Kayn has been able to do a lot on those backlines, but just has really been lacking that little bit of damage to get some more kills following up there on the tankier members. Maybe that's the difference that he needs.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to go some more survivability now, going to be more protective. This is another game where we're seeing the on-hit version of the Twitch also, as this is the root coming up. No ultimate's going to be popped for the side of Guilty, not going to go all in just yet. But yeah, this is once again we're seeing the on-hit version. The tracker knife is going to come through, so the Rage Blade is going to be the next item for the side of Luru. So another no IE build coming out from these Switch players.
Yeah, I don't know. I like at this point, obviously you can't pick up the IE at this point. Sivir's going to be getting her IE relatively soon, which could make a big difference in these team fights. But Luru, you've already committed to 2 on-hit items, so it's just going to keep committing to them, I guess. And, you know, once you have the Wits End and the Blade of the Rune King, then you're getting a lot of value out of Rage Knife and mainly out of Rage Blade. So...
yeah, I always wonder. It's just a little weird to me because Twitch is basically like a short-term cannon. When he explodes, he got to use his ultimate to get a bunch of damage. So the crits are really impactful for him if he gets some lucky ones with his ultimate popped. But that's going to force the ultimate from Ultra on the back end. So Sivir ultimate down, big cooldown given away from Orphic, just getting aggressive in the mid lane.
I feel like that was wasted. I feel like if Orphic continues to go in there, you have heal, you've got your whole team right there. I don't think you need to pop that SLR. Yeah, no, I totally would go crit if I was on Twitch. But you know what? These teams are going for their different options. Maybe the Wit's End is there just to make sure that he's not dying to Zen Zen. And then as a result, your item efficiency goes a different way. Whatever it might be, looking like a lot of pressure right now in the bot lane.
Luru's going to get hooked up. Great hook. The flash away is going to be Twitch is going to manage to keep himself safe. The Alder was coming through. So much damage coming onto this backline. Not enough as Jaffe's going to be forced to flash away. Orphic's on the backline. Ultravox is going to die. All the kills is going to be there. And a masterful bait from the side of Luru has convinced them all to go to their deaths as SLR is going to grab their first win of the year.
Oh, I got a little bit too excited there. Antu's making a genius play, but the wallets are too big on the side of SLR. They are going to be running in and taking down these last two Nexus turrets. Jaffe is there without ulti, just a TP to say something about this game. And this game has been said and done. It is over. SLR going to be picking up a strong win versus TDE.
Yeah, SLR putting on a bit of a clinic in this one. Utilizing teleport, finding good flanking gauges, making sure that they maintain their lanes. No one fell super far behind, and Fangs really didn't need to do much in the early game other than just stabilize, and it was really impactful in these team fights where Luru performed the majority of the time, but there was one person who I think is going to be an easy MVP, and that is this man in the mid lane who played a very fantastic game.
Guilty gives me shivers from that game. That was insane. He was just able to sit on the back line, make sure that nothing that was drafted by TDE was allowed to do damage. You just had Malphite and Leaves on the back line. And where are your two damage sources? Oh, they're dealing with Guilty right now. He's able to take those 1 versus 3 situations, taking all the damage and the CC, and he's still able to win it. I think he just got so far ahead once he got that first gank, and he really never let it go. It's just an impeccable game from him.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have enough damage to kill the Swain, he's allowed to just sit on the backline. Once that Conqueror procs, you just see the instant spike of damage. And there was a multiple team fights in a row, especially that one at the Dragon Pit where the Conqueror came through. And after that, just instant melting of Ultravox on the Sivir. When he's unable to get those auto attack bounces, Sivir loses a lot of its value in split fights. And this is another game in a row where that first pick Sivir has gotten punished with that instant counter pick. And if you're gonna do this, you have to ban the counters.
Yep. No, and it's getting shown right there, and our SLR almost did it. SLR able to show what they've got on their hands, just like that. Last game of the day is going to be wrapped up and taken away by SLR. We're going to have a quick interview with one of their members. Just posted this, and then we are off for the night. I want to say thank you to everybody for making this such a good turnout for day number 1, and don't go anywhere. We got a short interview.
Hello everyone, Chris Edgeworth here with everyone's favorite, most famous jungler, Fang over Fang. Brendan, what's going on, man? How's it after the win?
Listen, Chris, you know what's about to happen, right? You know I gotta come on here and flame Trey Tunes and Fake Fee for deciding to leave us and backstab us to join another team after we diffed them extremely hard.
I'm sure you have so much to say about this. You'll have your opportunity throughout the interview. Let me ask you first. What was your feelings? What was your preparation like coming back into the league?
Coming back into the league, I just really wanted to, just vibe out. To be honest, I feel like the first time it was in Mythic, we took it a little too serious. This time around, like this is our first time playing with this group of people. By the way, I've literally just met Guilty today, and Beatdown we just met literally before the match started. So we just wanted to enjoy the vibes, especially this season. Just had fun with it. But when it came to TDE, they're probably the easiest team to draft against, just because their support literally plays one style and that's it, and run it down. And then Jaffe just does literally nothing in top lane, while Leaves just plays like a solo queue player.
Goddamn. Well, let me ask you a little bit about this. So the game that we just had, you were debuting in the jungle, so to speak, not overall, because as the statisticians drew out, you had played, I believe, jungle in like your very first team that you played in Friend or Foe. But coming back to us in the jungle, then you had Orphic bringing out the Gwen, and then Swain, Luru with Twitch, and then the Lulu in the bot side. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on the draft that you folks wanted to have in this game.
So originally we had Tef playing, but their power went out, so we couldn't really actually play them. So we had to throw in Beatdown, who literally was just playing a Valorant game and just queued up. We always wanted to go Lulu Twitch, just because we wanted them to pick Sivir. I think we talked to Spencer about that before, Spencer being Ultrafox. So pretty much our draft went exactly this plan, besides the fact that they banned the junglers I wanted to play. We just knew that there'd be a support gap regardless of who we put in, and we could have put you in support, and we would have won the game, so.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. You came in and you were the Freelo, just boosted ass jungler in this game. Talk to me about playing Volibear with the lanes as they were going for you.
Honestly, dude, I ran it down the entire game, no meme. I literally just ran it down and walked at people, just doing nothing. Volibear is the easiest champion in all League of Legends. I hope Josh is out there, just so you can hear that. You literally just walk at people and then bite people. I literally ran it down. My team was playing good, besides Orphic running it down 3 times for no reason, and then Luru not flashing at all this game. But Guilty and Beatdown carried us. My team's bad besides me, but yeah.
Well, in the end, it's a dub. Can't complain too much. Brendan, thanks so much for the interview. Before we step away, though, your opportunity, final thoughts?
Yeah, let me just crack one for the boys real quick. This is another dub for the SLR server. We're out this bitch. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Amen. Well, folks, we'll see you on the other side. More Mythic action coming tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific time. See you soon.